Everybody, okay, I guess not. Now we're, yes, no, yes, no.
We're good. It was
Okay.
trying to reconnect, so I'm just double checking.
All right, so we think we're live. So welcome to a relatively jam-packed 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. We have Julie Towns from Reynoldsburg City Council, Ward 1. We have Ruvane of the Rock Syndicate, and we have Joe Sorensen and Ashley coming to us from the Student Council to talk a little bit about tomato wars. So we're going to hop right into it with Julie. Julie, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a beautiful day. It's so much nicer than yesterday where it was thunderstorming every 20 minutes.
Right.
So this is not your first appearance on the show, but this is one of those times where this is your first, I think, as a member of council. So you were on the Board of Education before. What are the biggest differences other than our meetings are almost always shorter?
Yeah, there's that. Well, when I was on the Board of Education, my main goal was ensuring that every child had access to quality education. That was my main focus, doing what's best for kids and making sure that teachers and staff had the resources to do that. So that was my focus. I'd say on City Council, a broader focus, a responsibility for all residents, and my decisions are solely based on more public safety, infrastructure, economic development, parks, and overall quality of life. So even though the common thread there is serving, one major difference I would say is people are passionate about a lot of things, but when it comes to their children, they will definitely let you know. So there's a big difference there, and just the responses and the reach out that I get from residents.
It's interesting to find out what people are passionate about. When you're on the school board, it's a very simple thing. It's that child, whatever their circumstances are about it. Here, one day it could be sidewalks, the next day it could be trash, and then the day after that it could be even more trash. Trash tends to be a very big topic around here. So it's an interesting, because it's a unique perspective, because it's two different things, and something we share in common in that. Now, as far as legislation from the past year, is there anything that you'd like to highlight or talk about to say, hey, this was a kind of a cool thing, or this is something that you're proud to have been a part of?
Yeah, so one thing I was really proud to be a part of was the stricter laws that we had for vicious dogs, animals, and Avery's Law. Being a part of that and seeing the impact that, that started and can reach throughout the entire city, and keeping our residents safe was really impactful for me, and I was grateful to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's we've had the opportunity to hear State Representative Meredith Lawson Rowe talk about it, Attorney Shook, but most importantly, had the opportunity to actually hear Avery talk about it for the first time last week, and to hear her talk about her, and the way that they have taken this and made such a positive out of such of a negative impact has been amazing, and to see that, talk about the perfect example of government response. We saw an issue, we knew that there was something that we needed to change, and not only did we change it here at the local level, but eventually it went to the state, and the state became its own entity as well to kind of take care of that. So that was always pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Now it is, and I'm sorry to say, for those of you that don't know, Julie's a teacher, and the clock is ticking on summer vacation. Sorry, but for the rest of this year, next year, what are some of the things that you're looking to kind of take either a look at, more active role, or things you're wanting to kind of push across?
So safety is definitely always at the forefront. Wagner Road looks amazing. The sidewalks, I was just really proud driving down the road and just seeing all the development there. So safety is definitely one. And always, I love the development for our parks, and I love being part of that and just making the parks a fun place for all of our residents to enjoy with their families. And then also another big one is discounts for water for economically disadvantaged as well. So those are some things that I'm looking forward to being part of coming up.
Yeah, for those of you who are curious, that's going to be on the next council agenda. We have been working hard to come up with a program. And so this will be a first draft. The council is going to get a chance to take a look at, and then hopefully make some comments, and we can get that instituted to help some of our residents that are most in need. We already have a senior discount. Now this will be something else that we can do with it. So you mentioned one thing about the parks. You got any plans for later today, say around 3:30 or so?
Bryce Road, ribbon cutting.
There you go. So, it's a nice segue into the Bryce Park. If you have the opportunity, I hope you can make it out. If you can't make it today, definitely take some time to walk it. It's not what you expect. So you get up there, you have the little parking area, and you have kind of the awning and everything like that. But when you actually get to walk around the entire thing, as we're going to do a little bit later today with that, even though it's been open for a while, the official ribbon cutting. So, because who doesn't love a big pair of scissors? So we've got that going on. Now, you mentioned, about when people want to get in touch with you about particular issues. What's the best way? If somebody wants to reach out to you because they say, Councilwoman Towns, I live in Ward 1 and I have this. And what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the easiest way on the website is my email and then my phone number, and then give me a call if you want to meet. One of my favorite things to do is to meet for coffee at 5 Bean. So I'd love to meet with you and discuss any questions and concerns that you have. Really easy to get a hold of. So
Okay, all right, and especially do it because we only again have a few more weeks.
like
that,
3
so-
more weeks or something like that.
We got plenty of
3 or
time.
4 more weeks. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to the Tomato Festival.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're all Tomato Fest right here at this point in time. Any questions? Anything come across?
No.
No. All right. Well, thank you very much. I know you got a lot going on today, especially because you have to enjoy the summer. So
Right.
enjoy that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And next we're going to welcome, for the first time on the show here, I think, or maybe the second time, I know we've been at his location, is Ruvane from the Rock Syndicate. Ruvane, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. How are you?
Not too bad.
Excellent.
Well, first of all, before we get into a lot of the main reason why you're here, tell us a little bit about what the Rock Syndicate is, in case some people might not have seen the show where we were actually on site looking.
Right.
At
Yeah, that was a fun time last summer when we got to hang out a little bit. So the Rock Syndicate is an upscale rock and roll lifestyle boutique. We feature very unique items, from instruments to memorabilia, signed items, stage plate items, coffee, boutique clothing. We have live music the first Friday of every month in a sort of small storyteller style format in the store space itself.
All right, so that you mentioned it, so that special event. Can you tell us anything, like what's the next one that's coming up that you might be having?
So the next thing that we're doing, we're very excited. August 21st, we are hosting our first show on our park stage out back. That's going to feature Josh Krajic, who is a nationally touring singer-songwriter. He was featured on the first season of X Factor. He was the runner-up on that show. When Simon Cowell and Paul Abdul were still there. Signed to Sony Records, just a beautiful voice, just a kind, loving person, writes great music, and we're very excited to feature him for our first show. That stage is going to be reserved for some of our bigger shows, some of our more prominent names of nationally touring artists, and we're excited that you'll be joining us for that show.
I'm looking forward to it. I may make one suggestion.
Please.
Get Jennifer's no rain boots, because you never know. They do have some pretty good magic with them, so that might just be an option, especially for the outdoors.
I like it. Hopefully you won't use up all that no rain stuff the week before at the tomato
With the tomato festival.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different thing. Hopefully there'll be enough to go all the way around. So let's say, because I know I'll be there and I know who you are, so it's easy.
Right.
But let's say you've got somebody else who's watching. It's like, hey, that sounds like a pretty cool thing. How do they get involved? How would they be able to actually go and see this?
Well, right now I believe we have one VIP seat left. The rest is our lawn seats. They can go to our website, therocksyndicate.com. There's an event link there that will take you to ticket links for all different types of our shows. And an important note is, when you do buy the lawn seat, you're welcome and encouraged to bring your own lawn chair. If you don't have one or you don't want to schlep it along, we have them available for rent. And it should be an awesome evening.
All right, it's pretty good. Anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I just had this idea that perhaps maybe we should give away some tickets to this show.
That sounds like a good idea.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. So what Josh and I decided that we were going to do is we'd love to treat 2 different groups of folks to come to this. So we have 2 sets of 2 tickets that we'd love to give away right now on the show. If you want to come to this show at no charge, comment "I want Tix" and TIX. I want Tix.
Not the other Tix.
Yeah, no. We don't want the kind that go in your skin. We want the other kind. And then we'll pull some winners and see what happens.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Always good to support the small businesses in the area. It's a beautiful location. It's great. And parking, I'm sure we'll talk about parking probably across the street.
Well, yeah, so parking is very easy. There are 2 main locations, and there are maps on the website as well under our park stage information. Directly across the street, the Gonley parking lot. We just encourage our folks to be respectful of the space, since they're our neighbors. And then also the optometrist building next door. If the Gonley lot is filled there are spots
Some
there
spots
as
there.
well. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You want to stick around for a little bit? We'll have some other people on, then see who the winners are.
Let's do
point.
that, and then we'll make sure we get them on the guest list. There's no physical tickets for this show, so we'll
There
make
aren't
sure.
physical tickets for anything anymore. So we were talking about that because obviously Lou Salvati, who is probably the only person I know that's gone to more concerts, except for maybe my next guest, Joe Sorensen, who's been so many. It used to be one of those things where people would actually have those paper tickets all the time,
Right.
and that was their little piece of memorabilia.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. We'll see you in
Appreciate it.
just a little bit.
All right.
All right, and to round up today's guest, but also to kind of include really the fun stuff that's coming up with the Tomato Festival, is Ashley and Joe Sorensen. So come on over, everybody. All right, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Just what you wanted to do when you woke up today, so I'm going to go
Yeah.
on the 12 o'clock show. I appreciate that. So really for people who don't know, what are the Tomato Wars? What exactly is this all about?
Do you want this one, or do I want to give a little history on it?
You can give history.
So, in 2019, yes, 2019 we brought Tomato Festival. You know what I'm saying? Where we decided to expand it, make it bigger, whatever it was. Tomato Wars was brought back in, from what I understand. And so, and I know the history because it was a group of my student council members that were asked to come in and help a little bit, cutting up tomatoes and get some things going. And so it was out on Davidson Drive. It was, we've had it was done like dodgeball, and it's been done like that for the last few years. And it happens sometimes some Thursdays, some Fridays. And it's been some good organizations in and around Reynoldsburg that have hosted it. And then last year, Ms. Clemens over there reached out to me, yes, and asked if student council would like to take it over. And I've honestly kind of wanted it for a little while.
Yeah. You just want to throw tomatoes at somebody is what you really want to do. I know that.
Not gonna lie, it is a joy. That first year in 2019, I did get to throw tomatoes at my student council members, and then it's been a few years where I haven't thrown tomatoes. And so last year, that was the first thing that I thought of was that I get to throw tomatoes again at my student council members. So that's where we are. And so we did a small little thing last year, and then we have spent the last year planning out how to make it bigger, how to do more things, and that's where Ashley comes in.
All right, so how's it going to be different?
So this time we're not going to do a dodgeball. It's more like you have a time limit, and then you can just throw tomatoes, and whoever is the most covered gets out. It's like a kind of a bracket system.
Okay.
We're hoping for at least 4 teams to sign up, so then it's 2 versus 2, and then those final 2 against each other. And then there's also going to be a costume contest.
I saw that. That was in the video you guys put out just the other day. So, all right.
Yeah, people dressed up is fun. Let's just be honest, man. Get excited for this. Come show, come have a good time with it. And to dress up on top of it, man, throw tomatoes and be dressed up while you're doing it. I mean, it gives you a chance to be a kid. And we are gonna. I know, everybody's question is, there's a $500 top prize.
I was waiting for you to bring that one up. This is actually a pretty big deal. This isn't. I mean, not to say that you couldn't carry the trophy and that in itself wasn't rewarding, but now we've actually got some money on the line here, so that's a pretty good thing.
Shout out to U.S. Army, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Them coming through. I've got a lot of former students, a lot of friends. My little brother is a vet, military Army. You know what I'm saying? So for them to put this up is awesome, and we can't thank them enough for that. But with that being said, we're going to do a 3-judge panel.
Okay.
And you are going to have, depending on how many teams, a time limit to absolutely just go out there and have as much fun as you can. Get as dirty as you can. Show up and have a good time, and then we're going to leave it up to the 3 judges to decide which team wins. And they're going to have to, and we've put some calls out to some people already, so we're looking forward to being able to announce that in the next week or two. Everybody's local Reynoldsburg judges, everybody's local to Reynoldsburg, that we've asked. So, and they're going to determine, the winners of each round and the ultimate top prize winner.
All right. So my only question then is, all right. So let's say again, you're watching or you're seeing your videos online or anything else how do they register? How do they get signed up? How do they go about if they want to do this?
So there's a link, and there's also a poster that's been posted. The link. There's also a QR code for you to scan, but basically you have to be over 18 to sign up, and you have to be from Reynoldsburg. Anyone who can sign up.
All right.
Ms. Clemens, are you going to put the link in the comments section? Can you do that for us real quick? So
Absolutely.
people can just hit the comment section and
Yeah.
and jump on.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. I get a kick out of the fact that, it started in the 1960s and here we are in 2026 and we're still kind of going with it. And I'm sure it's kind of ebbed and flowed and changed over the years, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what you and the student council team is actually how we're going to do this. I like the costume aspect of it. I know one of the things that I always get a kick out of with the Heroes to Heroes 5K is there are people that will dress up for the 5K. And so that in itself, we see a bunch of people walking around in, red, white, and blue tutus and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's always entertaining. And so now I can imagine that what they're going to bring to something like this, to the costume portion of it. So that's pretty cool.
No, you bring up the Heroes for Heroes. I'm wearing Special Olympics. I got the costume contest idea from the Special Olympics polar plunge. So give out, we'll shout out Special Olympics in the middle of all this.
Speaking of Special Olympics, breakfast this Saturday at the Masons. Last Saturday of the month, they're always there. And they do a great job donating some of the funding from that to go to the Special Olympics. And it's a great breakfast as well. So I know we'll be there this Saturday morning.
I'm definitely going to be there. You're going to be there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sweet.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. We'll see you, and let's get people registered for this.
Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got a lot of other things to kind of go on and talk about as we kind of do our set change. We don't have no commercials here. Couple quick things. Reynoldsburg City Schools, they have the 7th annual Mulligan Golf Tournament for Heart and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. That is going to be how we're going to kick things off for the Tomato Festival on Saturday, August 15th. You can go ahead and still sign up. It's 4-person teams, shotgun scramble, great prizes, longest drive, closest to the pin, all of that stuff as well. And this is kind of an interesting thing. I'll go ahead and go with the MORPC one. So MORPC, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, is offering opportunities for people for free home weatherization. I know you're thinking, why are you talking about weatherization when it's this beautiful out? But these are things out there for people based on their size of household and their income where you can actually get a furnace tune-up or replacement. They can do a hot water tank repair or replacement, gas supply and safety checks and things like that, all the way across to help kind of reduce some of those energy costs all the way. So take a look at that phone number, give them a call, and let them know that this is something that you would be interested in, because believe it or not, that time period is going to be here before we know it. But that's all I'm going to say about winter, because we got too many other fun things going on. Special shout out to Councilwoman Towns for talking about Wagner Road. Yes, phase 1 is open and we're happy about it. Saw a couple of questions on there. Yes, we're working on the light at Priestley. It's going to take some time to get that timing right perfectly, especially for people that are on Priestley trying to turn left onto Wagner. Wagner Road phase 2, we did have our first meeting last week and we have another one coming up actually tomorrow to kind of further refine it. We're looking at a post-Labor Day start. And so that kind of goes into, okay, well, why Labor Day? So I'm going to go into it. I saw a comment on the Wagner article on the Columbus Dispatch. And so I'm going to kind of go through a couple of those things for that. So one of the reasons why there typically tends to be delays, it's not delays on the city's part or our contractor's part. What the reality is, there are a couple of utility companies out there that they have the actual opportunity and the right to get into these areas first and do their portion of it. So for this case, Columbia Gas. Anytime that you're doing infrastructure improvements, if they have the opportunity to replace a previously existing gas line that is over a certain amount of years old, that's what Columbia Gas is going to want to do. You can imagine the tools, technology, and requirements are different now than maybe when the original gas lines in that area were put in. So Columbia Gas has to actually install the new gas line in various areas along Wagner Road. Columbia Gas does not start that process until 100% of the plans are complete. And so when people ask, why do we always seem like we're doing all these different projects? Because it takes a long time to get this project work planned and designed, and then you have to submit it to the utilities for them to do their work. So Wagner Road Phase 2, those designs have actually been done for about a year now, and Columbia Gas was provided that information, so was AEP. AEP right now is about 85 to 90% of the way done. There's going to be a little bit of work that they have yet to do on a couple of parcels. But for Columbia Gas, they have not gotten out there yet. So we will have our meeting with them tomorrow to hear exactly what their timeline is. Basically, once they schedule what they're doing, then that allows us to do other things. So imagine that you have a culvert on this side of Wagner Road, then we can start on this side of the road, and then at some point in time, then we can switch and do things like that. But we can't start until we know where Columbia Gas is. That's just kind of the order of operations. I won't make excuses for Columbia Gas. I don't know why it takes that long, but I'm sure that's the same thing that a lot of people are suffering with. It's staffing, it's planning, it's making sure people are in the right place. And then just in all honesty, The burden of being in one of the largest growing metropolitan areas in the state of Ohio is there's a lot of work all the way around central Ohio going on, and so it gets put in that pecking order, and then they kind of get to it as they do. And to be honest with you, from a safety standpoint, it's gas lines. We want to make sure we get this right, because if we don't, the results could be quite explosive. So there you go. I know I had to throw that one in there. AEP is also something going on. They're working on there. And then the other one is cable companies. So when you look at your power lines, typically AEP, the power stuff is at the top, but then you have your cable, Spectrum, Breezeway, whatever the case below them, AT&T. We have to get in contact with them, so that way AEP knows when those poles are going to be moved and when those utilities are being taken off the old and put onto the new. But there's a lot of turnover in those companies. A lot of times the contacts that we have for this part of Project Wagner Phase 1, one of the companies actually went through 4 different representatives just because they have a lot of turnover or they have a lot of advancement in their divisions. So it's always hard to get a very specific person in there. So that's kind of the reason why a lot of those things kind of get delayed in that regard. Which is kind of what ended up towards the end of the Wagner Phase 1 portion of. I believe they're actually out there working today on finishing that one. So we'll give a couple of other questions to some of those things in just a little bit. But that is Wagner Phase 2. Wagner Phase 2, again, starting after Labor Day. The contract length is approximately 550 days, so it's probably going to edge in a little into 2028, just depending on what the weather situation looks like, which is not really too unexpected a thing. Earlier today, we actually had our 2026 street program meeting. So if you're interested in knowing, hey, what streets are going to actually be on the street repair list for this year, you can go to our website and there's a GIS button. Just click on that and there's a layer that you can put in for all the different street projects for the next couple of years. Council was able to approve it last week. And so now we know when everything's going to start. Mid-August. So basically right after the Tomato Festival, the project is going to start for all of those roads. We will know a little bit more about what roads and when as we get a little bit closer to it. But basically, if you're on that list, your project, your road is going to be taken care of. I actually talked to a resident off of one of those roads on a completely different topic, and I said that this information will be updated when your construction goes on, and they were very happy to hear that their road is going to be under construction. So it's not going to be easy because, again, we have to take all the old asphalt off and put all the new in. It's not all going to happen in one day, but we'll get that information out so you can still get in and out of your homes and drive accordingly, but also to make sure that that area is done. We will also be starting towards the end of the month the treatment. So one of the big issues that we want to do that we feel is important is trying to find ways to extend the life of a road. So at the end, the year after we do specific roads, we do what is called a reclamite project. So basically it's just a film that is put on top of all the previous roads that kind of helps solidify it, and it can add anywhere from 5 to 10 years to the life of the road. So if your road got paved last year, so you're looking at some of the areas on the east side by Summit, and that road area, that will be taken care of, as well as some of the alleyways over by the French Run Creek and things like that. So that will be taken care of as well. Any questions on road projects or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay. Some cool things for parks. Again, it's COSI week. I had the really fun time on Monday. We actually got to go to COSI and experience all sorts of cool things that were going on. They had the Pixar exhibit. We, of course, went to the Wonderful Water exhibit and Progress, which is one of my favorite ones, being the old history teacher. But you, too, can actually go to COSI and enjoy this week for the week of Reynoldsburg. But you can get your discounts. If you want to, you can go online and you get your $5 discount for getting your tickets online. And then if you're a Reynoldsburg resident, you can get an additional $5 off your entry fee. So you get $10 off your admission. Go to COSI, check it out. It was a lot of fun. It was not crowded at all Monday, except for what we got to participate in, which is rat basketball. So we had the opportunity to watch Rosalie and what was the other one? Adele?
Yeah.
And so they got to play a little bit of basketball. It was a back and forth type of thing. Ended up being 17-16 after 3 minutes, so definitely a scoring fest, and they did not miss once, so their field goal percentage is pretty high. But it was a lot of fun to watch them do that and how the training process goes. And then because it is COSI, yes, it's fun, but they give us a little bit of educational stuff along with it. They talked about how the same methods that they use for rat basketball is how they get Fiona, the hippo down in the Cincinnati Zoo, how they were able to get Fiona to, get their teeth checked and to make sure that they take their medicine, and some other cool things in there. So that was great, but please go to COSI. It's a lot of fun. They had all sorts of cool exhibits on space and all the fun stuff throughout there. We also have our first Friday Food, Flicks, and Fun, not this Friday, but next Friday. That's August 7th at Huber Park with one of my favorites, National Treasure. I always enjoy that movie. Maybe I'll bring a Constitution with a map on the back of it. Maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. But we also have a musical guest, Mike Poyer, there as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We also have our next, basically, Intro to Archery that's going to be coming up as well. And that's going to be Saturday. Actually, I take that back. Yeah, Saturday, August 1st. It's Intro to Archery at Spengler Field from 3 to 5 p.m. And believe it or not, August 1st is not that far away as Jennifer starts having panic attacks for the Tomato Festival that's coming in just after that. So we've got some good things. Nothing real on the development news outside of the medical or the recreational marijuana facility did have a hiring event last week. So we anticipate that they'll be opening up sometime next week or the first week of August or so. Once we know for sure, we'll let everybody know. Tonight, I'm thrilled to have our next town hall. I've got a lot of different topics that I've seen on social media that'll be in there. So we'll talk a little bit about the demographics of the city of Reynoldsburg and how they've changed over the last 15 to 20 years. We'll talk a little bit about one of the comments that I've seen a lot is people saying why can't we have, and in this case, a pool. So we're going to talk about what that process would look like, as well as really anything else that comes up. We'll talk about the city budget a little bit because nothing is more fun on a sunny Wednesday night to talk a little bit about the budget and things like that, but to get everybody an understanding. Want to give a really big shout out to everybody who showed up at the last walk and talk at Kingsley and Addison. It was a really good group of people, had a lot of good conversations, picked up, unfortunately, a little bit of trash along the way, but it wasn't too bad, but it was a great turnout. Next one is going to be August 11th at Kingsley and Crestview, so a little bit further up the street from there, talking about that as well, so that's going to be fun. We also have the Franklin County Auditor's Office is going to be hosting a property tax review in Reynoldsburg on Saturday, August 22nd at the Senior Center from 9 to 5. So with all those property tax issues that are coming up, if you have questions about it, that's not really a City of Reynoldsburg thing or an auditor of the City of Reynoldsburg. That's actually the Franklin County Auditor. So they will give you the best information for that. And then we do have this Sunday night, the 26th, we've got a Hard Day's Night coming, Beatles Tribute Band at the Livingston House, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to say that this has probably been the most well-attended season so far, attendance-wise, for some of our bands. I still think we missed the opportunity with the marijuana facility not opening up for the Grateful Dead, but that's just my own thoughts. But outside of that, it's just been a pretty big thing all the way around. And of course, we have the wonderful, wonderful Tomato Festival coming up in just a couple of weeks, which we're going to be talking about as we go through. Any questions so far?
I've got 2 questions,
Okay.
but also remind people if they want to win those free tickets to comment before we get to the end of the show. We're going to pick a winner here in just a couple minutes.
All right.
Question was, is Town Hall being streamed?
No, the problem with having town hall streams is the way our system is set up. It's hard to get it, especially when I move around and all of that type of thing. So it typically isn't streamed in that regard. We're trying to figure out how to do that. It's just there's no way to get it without an actual live camera going. Our system just doesn't accommodate that.
Second one, would Priestley Drive ever be considered for upgrades? Entering from Wagner Road, you have gorgeous lights and trees, and further down towards Taylor Road, the lights become outdated and most don't work. A lot of kids play in that area.
So it depends. So I'm sorry. So everything Priestley from Taylor on, because I know that area, the road was actually just redone within the last couple of years. We haven't really had any questions about that. And street trees and street lighting are 2 different things that people really, really like or really, really don't like. It just kind of depends on the idea. But considering the road was just redone, I don't think there's anything currently in the plans for it. But that is an interesting thing to talk about. Send some more information in the chat, and I'll see what I can look up at.
That's it.
That's it. All right, so we've got all that fun stuff. Again, next week is the week that we're going to be talking a little bit about the Tomato Festival and then also talking about National Night Out, which is coming up on, again, I think that's Tuesday, August 4th, right here at JFK Park. So we're going to have Officer Chaub out here from our community relations team from the police department. We're going to talk about everything that you can expect to see at National Night Out, as well as some of our first event where we're actually going to be giving away our stored safe safes. For firearms to make sure that everyone is safe and well protected all the way across, and things like that. The only other questions that I did get on that, and I forgot to go through them, we did get a couple of other questions on that dispatch post. So about removal of farmland for unwanted projects. I'm not sure exactly what specifically you're talking about, but I can say that the zoning of the areas that are out there have been established actually as far back as 2018. So the city has what is in essence a playbook. This is a document that was provided even before I got here about all the different areas in Reynoldsburg, what those areas should look like all the way throughout, and that's kind of the plan that we're following. We will probably begin the review of that process. They're trying to say you should do that about every 10 years, so we're getting ready to come up on that one, so we'll probably do that. And it was based on, at the time, what community members were looking for. The other one was about higher sales tax for groceries, vehicle purchases. Again, that was a Franklin County initiative that just happened to hit that little bit of sliver in Licking County that also provides us the highest tax rate in the state of Ohio. So yay, Licking County, Reynoldsburg. I live there too, so I'm very much familiar with that one. That's not necessarily something that we can necessarily do. As far as the money that we do get from that, though, that is going to be something that can be used for, in addition to whatever the potential BRT looks like, but also some other infrastructure improvements on Bryce Road, specifically with the Bryce Road project. So we've got that coming up. Everything else is moving along according as planned. The street program will again start mid-August this year, and they're anticipating getting everything done probably by the first couple of weeks of October, depending on weather, with the exception of Berkey, because Berkey's a little bit longer of a project because they're getting water line work done. But the rest of it should be relatively simple. Now, that doesn't mean your street's going to be torn up for 2 months. It just means that they've got about that between August 15th and October 15th to get all of those roads taken care of. So, any last second questions?
No.
All right, everybody stay safe, stay respectful. But before we go, I know he's jumping up over in the chair over here. Hopefully you decided I want ticks, not those ticks, the other ticks. Come on up, Ruvane.
All right, thanks.
Do we have anybody that's looking to like there might be potential winners?
We do.
All right.
Before we announce, I just wanted to give one more little detail.
Sure.
We recently added kid seats.
Oh, okay.
So it will be more affordable for a family to come. The kid seats up to 12 years old are half price.
Okay.
So Craig Saylor is you've won 2 tickets to see Josh Krajic on August 21st, and I don't want to mess up the last name. Do you know this person?
Dean Fana. That's
Is
about
it
the
Fana?
Yeah,
All right.
That's about the best that I
Well,
got.
Dean, you've won 2 tickets as well. Congratulations. If you want to stop by the Rock Syndicate, 7704 East Main Street, and just confirm all that, we'll get you on the list, and look forward to seeing you in August.
All right, it's going to be here before we know it.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you for coming in. Always good to be a partner
Thank
with
you.
you. Appreciate it.
You.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. We will see you next week. See you guys.